a work by Jim Alley. It's called Tea at Jim's, and Jim works out of Community Artworks in Nelson. This is pretty wacky. I'd like to see more of Jim's work. I'd like to see him paint. I like the way he uses... Okay, it's a figure. It's a comic kind of figure. He's turned it into a piece of geometry. But I like the way it occupies the entire space of the page, and it's become a sort of a set of decorative shapes. A work like this will also respond well to being framed nicely. I'd love to see him work on better quality paper. That's something, I guess, something that community artworks struggle with is the quality of materials, but it does make a difference. If an artist is showing inclination, or if their particular voice is shining through their work, I'd encourage community spaces to take the time and trouble and maybe get some local sponsor and get some good materials. It helps the artist realise their vision, I think. So nice work from Nelson. This is a work by Chris Karu from King Street in the Wairarapa. I haven't seen Chris's work before, but I can recognise the quality and the distinct voice that Chris is showing through this particular work. I'm not sure if the camera can pick up the detail, which is quite extremely fine. I read this work as a kind of spacey, sci-fi, maybe slightly heavy metal kind of piece of work. I feel like this nebulous form has a structure in it, and it's got a beautiful tonal, looks like coloured pencil rendering. There's some ink lines, and it, sci-fi, spooky. Chris, just for your benefit, we're probably going to put this into a white frame. I think there's enough with the black, but that's a curator's choice. You may disagree, but if you were here, we'd discuss it. You're not, so we're going to stick it in a white frame. So, nice job, nice line work. This is a work by Shamila Pillay from Take 5 in Lower Hutt. So, looks like acrylic on paper. It's a piece of pop art to my eye, and as it happens, we've got examples of the real thing, hundreds and thousands on a cookie. But this is a fun work, and we had planned on using this piece as a poster. I'm not sure if the posters are still happening, but what that suggests is that the graphic quality of this work is striking, and it's going to look great framed. It's a fun piece of work. This is the final piece of work that I'm going to talk about. A work by Andrew Blythe from Porirua in Auckland. Andrew is very unique in that he has achieved some commercial success, and he is represented by the Tim Melville Gallery in Auckland, which is a dealer of contemporary art. In this particular piece, well, his voice is through his mark making and the quality of his application of marks. And this work is a signature for Andrew. The motif he uses is the word no. It's repeated. And he uses the cross. I think Andrew has a number of techniques that he's evolved, but he's kind of a painter's painter. A lot of contemporary painters really admire the work and the consistency of Andrew's work. We're finishing this little introduction to the artwork, finishing with Andrew's work, because Andrew is in an exhibition that I've curated, which has been hosted by the Mad Musée in Liège in Belgium, which happens to be on at the same time as the show at Pataka. Andrew's one of the artists. There's three other artists. Susan King is one. Martin Thompson from Wellington, now Dunedin, is the other one. And Jim Dornan, deceased, from Wairoa, is the fourth artist. It's a very concise show. All those artists have very particular voices, and I proposed the show to this museum in Belgium. I'm hoping the show gets picked up by other museums in Europe who specialise in the work by self-taught artists. So that the show over there is a little bit different to Pataka. It's quite exclusive. But the idea of the original voice still applies to that show. As a concluding comment to this whole effort on behalf of Arts Access, it is the diversity of the work that I enjoy and the surprise at seeing different work that I haven't seen before. So I hope the audience, the general audience, can enjoy this work in a similar way. I don't think you need a degree from a university to get pleasure from artwork, but I think you need a certain confidence that and maybe a certain openness so that you can just enjoy the marks and maybe act a little bit like a detective, looking at the marks and thinking about how the artist put them down. These are untrained artists. They're simply responding to the materials and the brush in their hand and the moment. And the audience, when you stand in front of a piece of work like this, you're standing where the artist stood. You're looking at their decision-making process. So it's not rocket science, but it is simply being a little bit sensitive to different ways of expressing oneself. I hope people get that and get the great diversity that's on show here. And the other thing is, this is New Zealand art. It's not in the record books, it's not in the libraries or museums yet, but it probably will be one day. So thanks to Pataka for providing a forum and a venue. And I hope everybody enjoys the work.